And I am Caster Seda, and we are very, very excited for game number 2 between our Witty Name and Team Insane. This is, again, the Top Lane Gaming launch tournament. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And let's see if there's going to be any sort of action. We already see both of the teams grouping up just a little bit. Already a very, very quick move out of our Witty Name Team Insane. Already heading down to the bottom as well. Could be getting a very, very quick level 1 engage. Yeah, very interesting. They did just position directly around each other, so unfortunately nobody is going to get caught. I'm curious to see whether or not Team Insane is just going to go for a ward if they want blood as well. And it looks like they're having a little bit of trouble deciding if they want to go through the bottom or through the top of that particular wall in the jungle. And this is just really interesting to see how their mentalities have changed. Early on it was nice and defensive. They were taking their time warding, and then there was the trading of the red buffs in the first game, but now already we're seeing things differ up just a little bit as we're getting an invade at the blue buff for My Little Old Man, and what appears to be an invade at the red buff for Shalond. And looks like we're already about to have some action. FJ Cruisin' and 16 characters' name are spotted coming out of the river, and My Little Old Man coming around as well. Oh, this is going to be very interesting. Looks like FJ Shalond forced to burn his flash. Legendary is now caught in the tri-bush with Font. Here's Font jumping onto My Little Old Man, who's forced to flash away, still feared. There is no repel quite yet. He's taking a lot of damage from the red buff. First blood goes down to Font, but FJ Cruisin' coming around from behind. Despite the dark passage, Font is getting low. Ignite ticks away. FJ Cruisin' picks up a kill exhaust on 16 characters, but he's not going to be dived by Shalond and Legendary just yet. In the bottom lane, the engage was very, very interesting. FJ Cruisin', I love his play in the bottom. He saw 16 characters, was backing off after Font went down, but he continued to follow up, recognizing that he had both the red buff and the blue buff. He continued to throw out auto attack after auto attack onto Legendary and Shalond, and in fact burned away enough of their health with consistent auto attacks to force Legendary and Shalond back. Now that means that Legendary does have a few health potions for sustain, but he is going to be behind when the next time 16 characters recalls, and already we can see the level advantage slowly starting to sway in favor of our Witty Name. Oh, another gank in the bottom lane. Looks like the death sentence is going to miss. SJ Cruisin' taking a lot of damage, forced to flash away. Font, unfortunately, is blinded. That it is still Font's flash on cooldown, and FJ Cruisin' is just fantastic down here. Field tension playing reasonably well as Renekton so far, and looks like we could be having My Little Old Man swing around into the mid just to show himself to Zelgato, to keep Zelgato safe, and My Little Old Man is doing a little bit poorly this game. Currently a level 3 so far. It's about 5 minutes in, falling just a bit behind in level compared to Font. Font actually also level 3 as well, but Font is continually putting pressure onto the lanes. Looks like Team Insane really wants to try to keep their lanes winning. They're not terribly concerned about Font's effect in the late game. They want to have their lanes win in the early game so that they can try to take an early mid-game victory. It's really a difficult to say. Renekton definitely scales better into the mid game. If he decides to go for that Ravenous Hydra, he can be very, very potent. Sunfire Cape also an excellent combination with Spirit Visage, just because Renekton has that fantastic scaling with Dominus. Meanwhile, Mundo, once he manages to get a Warmogs or even a Spirit Visage on top of the Warmogs, is just going to be impossible to kill. Even in the Battle of the Atlantic, it took all 5 members of CLG to bring down Alternate's Mundo, but it is actually finally level 6 coming out from Apocalypse, blows the Sadism, immediately regenerates health, and tries to force field tension out of lane as my little old man comes for yet another gank. And this is a fantastic play from Font, going for the jungle invade, seeing Elise in the top lane immediately, going in and dropping 2 wards just to keep track of where my little old man is at any given time. Unfortunately, I think the Wraiths will respawn by the time my little old man makes it there, but still Font continuing to counter jungle, just trying to keep an eye on shutting down my little old man, who played so very, very well in the previous game, and trying to keep him denied. Very, very powerful intervention. I believe it goes up to 3 seconds by level 6, which can be an enormous amount of time once we get to a late game team fight with AoE flying left and right. But it doesn't seem like there's a lot of burst out of Team Insane. They're really going to try to rely on suspended engages. There's a little bit of poke out of Lucian once she manages to throw out a few cullings, but outside of that, the only real burst is going to be Command Dissonance and Command Shockwave from Zelgata. So I'd like to see Team Insane go for the more sustained engages, try to use a little bit of poke to bring our Witty name down, and then sustain the fight out, try to drag it out, allow Mundo to burn his ultimate, to burn down, and then finally try to jump in after they see that our Witty name has been worn down. And that is exactly what we see out of Mundo, going with the teleport. Now, the teleport's a bit interesting. What this is going to allow Apocalypse to do is, once we get to the late game, if it does make it to the late game, post 30 minutes, the rest of his team is going to group up mid. They're going to try to siege, they're going to try to keep the entirety of Team Insane distracted, while Apocalypse, he's going to push another lane. He's just going to go clear it out with a healthy amount of AoE, probably with a Sunfire Cape, which looks like that's what he's building right now. Going to rely on that Burning Agony to clear minion waves and split push. And then once the engage finally happens, I assume we're going to see a ward go down from FJ Cruisin', and we're going to have Apocalypse immediately teleport in to join the team fight. Yes, he will be 1 or 2 seconds late, but he's Mundo. His main contribution is to be a meat shield, so they're not going to be missing out on that much damage. Uh-oh, looks like we could be having a gank go down in the mid. Malice Phallus gets caught in the command shockwave. Fear is going down, but he has an intervention to keep himself alive. Elise repelled, trying to engage just a bit, dodges command attack. Great escape from Malice Phallus, recognizing he's in danger, not even hesitating to use the intervention to dodge the fear from Nocturne. Oh, FJ Cruisin jumping into the bottom lane. Tibbers doing a lot of damage to Legendary. The Ignite is taking away. Will Tibbers get an auto attack? Wow, a gate! Great Dark Passage keeping him alive. 16 characters name wants to follow up. Barrier keeping him alive, but he went too far. Shallan picking up the kill with the turret. Oh, Dominus goes down. Apocalypse, he's making it under the turret. Sadism trying to keep him alive. It looks like the Ignite finally stops. Field tension, very, very far out of position, very low. The Cleaver is going to miss, but this is Malice Phallus in position. Tries to follow around, manages to get a little bit of a heal for a move speed, and picks up the kill. And this is a very greedy play out of Team Insane, recognizing that Kayle was just in the jungle. She was clearing because she was low. She is back. That means that they won't be able to fight for Dragon. But here comes My Little Old Man. Is he going to try to contest it? No, he's going to allow it to fall. Good thinking from Team Insane, recognizing that Kayle's out of position, recognizing that bot lane doesn't have wards in the river, and following up with Dragon. Yeah, Paranoia hasn't actually been used yet. It's about 12 and a half minutes into the game. It seems like he's just being patient. He's saving it for when he really needs to use it. There was a gank in the mid from Font, but it seems like he's been more focused on farming for the time being. Whoa, Command Shockwave doing a lot. Ignite going down. Is Intervention still available? Yes, it is, but Malice Phallus doesn't even use it. Actually, a pause going down. This is a little interesting. I think it's nice that he's saving for the picks. He went through all of the lanes and how difficult they are to gank. But more than anything, really, I'd like to talk about My Little Old Man. My Little Old Man isn't having quite as large an impact on this game as he did in the previous one. He's still playing well, currently at 54 farm, 0-1-1, to the 44 farm of a 1-1-0 Nocturne. But the only real ganks we've seen have been in the mid lane. Despite in the top lane, you're going to have Field Tension continuing to shove onto this Mundo, keeping Alpacalypse under the turret. Unfortunately, it did cost him a death, but Font could definitely follow up in the top lane a little bit more. He could even follow up in the bottom lane, as Quinn has been having trouble against Lucian as well. So it seems a bit curious that to me that both of our junglers, they're not trying to contribute as much. They're getting a healthy amount of farm rather than focusing on their lane presence. And it is a very, very close game, very, very fun to see the trading back and forth. But we talked a little bit in Champion Select about how the impact of the junglers would sway the top lane. So far, there hasn't really been that much impact. And exactly, the Paranoia goes down. Malice Phallus throws down the intervention to keep himself alive. What a gank from Font right there. Forces the intervention. But unfortunately, that Paranoia is going to be a little bit on a longer cooldown. And now My Little Old Man could potentially come in for a gank. No, he's just going to farm out instead. This is a little unfortunate for 16 characters name. He's going to fall just a touch behind. Hopefully, there is actually going to be a pause out of Team Insane, out of politeness. But it doesn't look like that's the case as Legendary continues to push in the bottom lane. The minions are about to go down, and 16 characters may just go down to the minions. He did just throw out an auto attack, so he is going to get the kill if he goes down. Yes, that's Legendary picking up a kill. Oh, action in the top lane. Looks like Field Tension blows the Dominus, throws Ignite onto Apocalypse to deny the Sadism as well, but Apocalypse continuing to regenerate. And you're exactly right. This is a tournament, so it is unfortunate that that does happen, and we will do our best to try to prevent it in the future. However, the game will go on. It's currently now about a 400 gold lead for Team Insane. 15.5 minutes into the game, and it's fairly even so far. Top lane, even in farm. Jungle, about even in farm. Mid lane, again, even in farm. And we're not really seeing a lot of play out of these two teams. They're just taking their time, playing it out for the mid game, playing it out for the late game, trying to get those core items before really making any sort of action happen. Oh, FJ Cruisin gets caught in the death sentence, taking a healthy amount of damage, doesn't have the Tipper stun quite yet, has to build up the charges on her Pyromania. Not going to be an engage. Paranoia goes down in the mid lane. Font wants to engage on the Malice Phallus. Intervention is available. The Fear goes down immediately, but Malice Phallus looks like he's going to make it. Shockwave pulls him in, but the damage is denied by Intervention. Malice Phallus continuing to go onto the turret. Red buff doing damage, and Zelgato picks up the kill with an auto attack. What an excellent dive from Font. And that's actually going to be the first turret of the game now, going down in favor of Team Insane. They are about 1,500 gold ahead, which is fantastic. And now here's my little old man coming in for a gank in the bottom lane. This is excellently timed, as I was just talking earlier about him not having a lot of lane presence. This could really help out in the bottom lane, especially now that Quinn is down a kill to Lucian. And, oh, looks like the engage. FJ Cruiser goes in. Shalon, taking a healthy amount of damage, tries to bury her out, throws the box down to deny the engage. Death Sentence pulls FJ Cruiser under the turret. Looks like FJ Cruiser is going to go down. My little old man tanking the turret. Legendary flashes away. That isn't going to be the benefit, but 16 characters managing to pick the kill. And my little old man gets followed up by Font, flashes over the wall to escape. Oh no, but here's Zelgato, throws down Command Protect onto Font. My little old man going to go down from the dissonance from Zelgato. So this is now 16 characters, 1v2 doing a lot of damage as well. Command Shockwave not available, and a teleport from Apocalypse. He wants to come and pick up the kill. Fear on the minion, unfortunately missed. Here's Malice Phallus coming in from the side. This is going to be a kill from Malice Phallus. An excellent turnout from our Witty name. No, it's not all bad for Apocalypse. He did manage to take the mid outer turret with Malice Phallus, so trading a top turret for a mid turret. Definitely allows a lot of roaming potential. Malice Phallus finally roaming for the first time. Dragon actually respawning, and without any wards, I don't even know if Font's going to be able to make it in time. Paranoia is not available. He's trying to sneak forward, throws it on a ward, but Dragon already goes down. Font is going to see this and is going to be forced to back off, but no! We have another rotation into the bottom lane. Looks like our Witty name wants to try to force an engage in bottom. Never mind. Yes, that is. That's a bit interesting to see Elise go for the Haunting Guise. I guess it appears that our Witty name is going to rely on Apocalypse's Mundo to be the meat shield, and then in the worst case scenario, you definitely have Malice Phallus being able to throw down intervention to keep people alive, but oh, this is very scary. Looks like Zalgata walking on top of a ward with Font, going to go for a gank in the bottom lane. That turret is still available. Looks like Cruzen and 16 characters are going to be able to escape. A good rotation, unfortunately, they were spotted by wards, and the ward coverage for our Witty name is doing pretty good so far. They're keeping an eye on the jungle. They're keeping an eye. And looks like Apocalypse is just going to trade a little bit with Renekton in the top lane. And oh, here's Font managing to land the fear on my little old man. Whoa, a huge Timber Stun lands. Looks like Font tanking up a healthy amount. Death Sentence is going to miss. Malice Phallus not going to come around from the side. It would be a 3v4 as 16 characters is still in the bottom lane. A good attempt from Team Insane, but excellent knowledge from our Witty name to recognize that they would be behind going into this. And with the game so even, I think it's pretty safe to say that they were clever to disengage. And wow, field tension getting dangerously low, trading with Apocalypse. Looks like we're starting to reach that late game Mundo we were talking about. But it's so hard to keep up with a Mundo in the late game. Mundo just so very tanky. We already see Randuin's Omen just being completed, combined with a Sunfire Cape. Probably going to be getting a Warmogs or a Spirit Visage relatively soon after, and from that point on, Mundo is just going to continue to build up and up and up in maximum health and regeneration. And I don't even know if Team Insane has the damage to really burn him down. Lucian is going to have to get a very significant sustained amount of damage to really burn down Mundo. And in all that time, you have the damage coming out from 16 characters' name on Quinn. You have Malice Phallus shredding armor and magic resist with Holy Fervor auto attacks. And you've even got Elise doing % health damage with that increased magic pen, as you were talking about. Oh, landing. FJ Cruzen taking just a touch of damage, but going to back off instead. Oh, that looks like Righteous Fury doing a healthy amount of damage combined with Ignite. Oh, and Malice Phallus flashes forward to pick up a quick kill. Apocalypse taking his time. That is going to be a tenacity on Font because of the Spirit of the Ancient Golem, so he is relatively safe. Tries to spell shield, but the Cleaver did miss. And it looks like our Witty name slowly starting to increase the pressure. This is a little bit different from what we saw in the first game. Team Insane is keeping up significantly better, but they're slowly starting to fall just a little bit behind. And as long as that gap it continues to increase, it's going to be really difficult for them to come back. Oh, Malice Phallus invulnerables a command shockwave. Zalgatos looks like he goes down, flashes, but unfortunately there was a little bit of a mouse bug. He only flashed about an inch to his right, which is still an auto attack range for Malice Phallus. the Spell Thief's Edge. So people have done the calculations. People have found that the Targon's Brace can be the most gold efficient, but it requires significant coordination with your AD carry, which can be difficult at lower ELO, whereas the gold coin passively gives you gold generation, and even the Spell Thief's Edge can have a little bit of trouble. Wow, Alpacalypse gets caught way too far forward. He's just going to blow the sadism and stay alive. We have a healthy amount of damage coming out from Malleus Phallus. This is a 2v5 as Alpacalypse and Malleus Phallus are just absolutely tanky. But going back to the support items, I'm surprised we haven't seen the Ancient Coin get upgraded into the Talisman of Ascension quite yet from Thresh. It does increase the passive gold generation and gives a significant amount of move speed. I'm surprised that Shalland is going for what appears to be a Sunfire Cape after getting his Sightstone. I don't know if that's going to work out terribly well. Mm-hmm. 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 And Quinn currently doing very, very well at 194 farm, almost broken 200 in about 26 minutes into the game. However, Malleus Phallus at 251 farm, 26 minutes into the game, is doing phenomenal. Has completed the Lichbane and her Nashor's Tooth as well. Combined with the Magic Pen from Haunting Guise and Sork Boots, that's going to be very, very scary to deal with. Malleus Phallus actually splitting off. This could be an excellent opportunity for Team Insane to try to engage without Kale. There's no intervention, and even with Mundo in the bottom lane, he'll have to teleport in. Let's see if Zelgato and Shalland want to try to make anything happen, or if this siege is going to be successful for our Witty name. And oh, in the top lane, Malleus Phallus engaging on the field tension, throws down the Ignite, burning Dominus' extra health, and that is actually going to be the mid-inner turret. And here's the engage I was talking about. Command Shockwave missing my little old man, forced to back away from Font, but the Paranoia goes down. This is actually Font taking a healthy amount of damage. Delgato ending low as well from the Ignite Exhaust, denying 16 characters damage. Font continuing to tank forward. Legendary jumping in. Looks like 16 characters goes down to Font. The culling has not been used quite yet. Still being saved. Malleus Phallus finally engaging into the fight, throwing out a healthy amount of damage with Righteous Fury. Field tension going to be forced to back off. So far, it is 1 for 1, trading one jungler for another. And there have been a couple of pink wards. It looks like the current ward coverage for our Witty name is slowly creeping forward on the map. They're keeping more and more track of Team Insane's jungle, just going to try to deny any sort of more rotations or positioning between Team Insane, force them to stay back in the Nexus, whereas Team Insane, they are warding defensively as well. They're trying to keep track of the rotations from our Witty name. Our Witty name, again, they're slowly starting to increase the stranglehold, something that we saw in game number 1 that worked out exceptionally well. And again, in game number 2, it is continuing to work out in their favor as they increase the gold lead to nearly 7,500. I didn't see, but Holy cow, in the meanwhile, my little old man and Malice Phallus are soloing Baron, relying on Elise's Spiderlings to tank a healthy amount of damage from that Baron. Intervention even being thrown down. There isn't even a ward for Team Insane. They have no idea this is happening. What a play out of our Witty name. Oh no. I think this is what we talked about a little bit earlier. Team Our Witty name going to split push while Mundo joins in from the other side of the map, and then if a team fight does go down, if Team Insane wants to try to make something happen, he's just going to teleport in, and Shallan throws down the death sentence. Here is a paranoia. Looks like this is the engage from Team Insane. We have intervention on Kale, keeping her alive. Font going to be burned down by FJ Cruisin. This is now Tibbers tanking the turret. This is just the opportunity Our Witty name needs. That was unfortunately Shallan getting just a little bit too far ahead from the rest of his team. He did cause the death of Font, and now it is 4v5 for Team Insane against a burned up Witty name. Flash over the wall. Malice Phallus wants to pick up the kill onto Zelgato. Meanwhile, the turret getting pressured down by 16 characters. Cocoon misses, but doesn't matter. Malice picks up another kill. Repel forward. Field tension has to dash away. Mundo, in the meanwhile, continuing to keep Lucian distracted as the inhibitor is going to fall for Team Insane. Whoa! Command Shockwave catching all four members, but the damage isn't enough. Zelgato falls. This is the culling doing a healthy amount to 16 characters, but FJ Cruisin comes in, denies any more continued engage. Malice Phallus very low, but this is going to be where the Baron buff comes in handy. They're just going to have to wait it out a little bit and regenerate back up. I'm sure 2 or 3 auto attacks from that Blade of the Ruined King on 16 characters is going to allow him to heal right back up, and the siege will inevitably continue. And again, Mundo still has not left this bottom turret alone, continuing to apply pressure to keep Lucian distracted. That was such an excellent play, keeping Lucian out of the fight. And now it looks like we could be having a proper siege. Quinn engaging a little bit on the field tension, but he's going to back off. And, oh, we could have a pull go down. Malice Phallus gets caught out of a position. Intervention is available. He's trying to burn down Shallan, but field tension decides he wants blood. Dashes forward. Nope. Backs out at the last second with the Dark Passage. And the siege continues. This Baron buff is working out so very, very well for our Witty name. They are fully maximizing its regeneration potential as Alpacalypse uses the sadism. I think this turret might go down regardless of the minions. Yes, it falls. Malice Phallus trying to engage, but another Dark Passage keeps field tension alive. This is now another inhibitor. What fantastic use of the Baron buff. And our Witty name putting the pressure on, taking the last inhibitor, followed by the last inhibitor turret. Wait, switch that, but the engage goes down. Looks like Shallan forcing to engage, trying to keep the Flay Alpacalypse away. Font uses the paranoia, jumps in. I don't know if that was the best of ideas, but it happened anyways. Lock into the Iron Solari, taking a bit of damage. Exhaust on Malice Phallus, denies that armor and magic shred, but it doesn't matter as Alpacalypse on Mundo, just walking right through the minions, doesn't have a care in the world. He is pleasing that this game is over. Now is Font trying to pick up the morale kill on Malice Phallus, who is now out of mana. Field tension, jumping in with the Dominus. A huge command shockwave, shutting down 16 characters. This is what Team Insane needs. Elise falls as well. Malice Phallus going to try to bring down field tension. He survives, finally shut down Alpacalypse, going to go down to the death sentence. This is almost the ace. Annie, the only member surviving, but all of the inhibitors are down. Field tension trying to get the kill. Ignite going to shut him down. This is now a great opportunity for Team Insane if they can keep the Nexus alive. The Nexus turrets are gone. The inhibitors are gone. They have an opportunity to defend. The Baron buff is also now gone off of our Witty name. But what a very greedy play from our Witty name. It very well could cost them. And with Baron about to spawn in 2 minutes, the inhibitors still have at least a couple of minutes before they're going to respawn. But what this gives Team Insane is time to breathe. It gives them gold, allows them to complete some of their secondary core items. We see the Bloodthirster and Infinity Edge finally finished out of Legendary, so we will be able to burn down his targets. Sunfire Cape completed on Shalond as well, but I don't even know if they'll be able to get a break. FJ Cruisin is just continuing to apply pressure. First inhibitor is going to respawn. Team Insane really needs to keep that alive. Inhibitor is going to go down. Already name applying the pressure. They want to try to end this game. This is now or never for Team Insane. They have to try to protect the Nexus. The Super Minions are going in. Shalon throws down the box on the Malice. Malice doesn't even care. Just auto attacks the Nexus and ends game 2. Yes, it is. Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, this is a Top Lane Gaming launch tournament day number 3. Already name advances, and we'll be back with the next set of games in about 5 minutes.